As the title suggests, we've got a pretty abrupt swing from what is distinctly autumn to summer, back to autumn over the next few days. Thanks for clicking on to the midweek edition of Vogan's European Outlook. This is the GFS 2-meter temperature anomaly. You can see here we started off today on Sunday, rather chilly compared to average across the UK and Ireland, even into the north of France and the Low Countries here. The warmth's already building at this stage as we ended the weekend across Spain, Portugal, even into the south of France as well. And you can see here as we step through the next few days, the warmth is gradually building. And as of this afternoon, you start to see warmer air moving into Ireland, Northern Ireland, and southwestern portions of the UK, and then we kind of slowly but surely start to build that warmth once again. The last major surge of heat probably of the year. Doesn't mean we can't get warmth later down the road, but certainly the intensity of the warmth is probably peaking. So these were the projected numbers over Iberia of the GFS for this afternoon, and generally widespread, 30s here. Once you get into the south of Iberia, widespread upper 30s here. Remember, this is midsummer level warmth, by the way, it has to be said. But the current temperatures are, living up to that GFS prediction. Upper 20s, even low 30s into the south of France. And we're talking about temperatures, if we zoom into Spain, we've got temperatures of 40 Celsius. Now, yesterday afternoon, we did see some impressive warmth. Now, down into North Africa, we had temperatures as high as 45 Celsius in Salah, 39.8 in Portugal, and 39.4 in El Grande, Spain, with minimum temperatures of 21 Celsius. Record highest September minimum. That is, I'm assuming it's not a national record, but a local record here. Temperatures yesterday as high as 35.2 in Pegomas in France. That's 0.1 from the September record. And through the course of this afternoon, we are talking about temperatures into the low 30s in the south. We've actually got a 34, appears to be, in southeastern France. So we may exceed that 35 from yesterday. Today, we're certainly exceeding the numbers down across Spain and Portugal. And if we go back to the prediction of the GFS, we have got a rather warm night. The GFS model indicates that the 6Z tomorrow morning, we have temperatures as high as 26 Celsius in a few spots here across south central Spain, 24 Celsius in southern Portugal. Then as we progress into the day tomorrow, we are talking about temperatures back into the 40 Celsius range, it looks like here, close to it, probably exceeding it. And into the south of France, we've got 35 Celsius to be had. So yes, we've got certainly some fairly impressive warmth, multiple days, probably exceeding 40 Celsius even as we move into the day on Friday. 37 Celsius in the southwest of France here, so could be knocking the door of September records for France, but particularly so due to the fact that it's the back half of September, so we've surpassed the midpoint of the month. Therefore, this heat becomes all the more impressive when you're talking about the late stage in the year. So this is temperatures over Iberia, southern France during the course of Friday. And then even into the day on Saturday, we're starting to see the temperatures coming down, so to speak here, but still low 30s in the south of France as the core of the heat gets transferred northeastwards here up through the Low Countries. We could be seeing 30s in the Low Countries, for example, 27, 28 Celsius, not out of the question in the southeast of England. Depends on sunshine and whatnot, and temperatures into the upper 30s in parts of, so low to mid 30s, in parts of Germany. So you can see here, this is the current European temperatures. Looking at the UK specifically, the warmth remains down to the south at the moment here. But not too bad this afternoon. We do have a couple of 19s at Dalcross, Inverness Airport, and also Kinloss, generally 14 to 17 Celsius. And you can see here 14, 16 in the Glasgow area, 19 at Edinburgh Gogar Bank. Then as you move further south, you've got 18.8 at West Frew near Stranraer. We've got an 18.5, or 19, sorry, at the Belfast Harbour region. And then we've got generally upper teens, low 20s across the bulk of England and Wales this afternoon. So this is the current visible satellite imagery. We've got quite the mess out there. The low pressure wave train continues to bring spells of fairly unsettled, wet, windy conditions. That system a couple of days ago, I meant to say, generated a 78 mile per hour gust at Needles Old Battery on the Isle of Wight. So not too shabby for sure over the last few days in terms of gusty winds. These are the rain totals according to the Meteosail site over the past 72 hours. So fairly significant amounts of rain. Parts of North Wales, interior South Wales, parts of Western Northern Ireland, the Republic of Ireland, northwestern England, and southwestern Scotland here. A little bit less the further north you go and the further southeast you go. But this central swathe of both Ireland and UK have seen a fairly decent amount of rain over the past couple of days. We did see more heavy rainfall sweep east-northeast through the course of Wednesday morning. And that weather is now moving into the North Sea. And the next system is waiting in the wings here. This is the Icon model today, looking at the precipitation through the Wednesday time frame. You can see here the swathe of heavy rain projected by the model here through Wales, picking up another 20 to 50 millimetres of rain, especially over higher ground, exposed to the flow coming in off the Atlantic, and some decent amounts further. Well, basically that central swathe is the epicenter of the heavy rainfall. Then we've got another little band. The problem is that we've got this low that is kind of dipping. We've got this trough. Check out the Met Office deep dive that Aidan McGivern always provides a fantastic explanation. But he was talking about the wave 3 becoming wave 4 pattern around the Northern Hemisphere and how things have been moving along fairly quickly over the Atlantic with a strong jet. But it looks as if we're adding another wave to that overall pattern, all connected, interconnected across the Northern Hemisphere with a big storm over the North Pacific. That's going to add another wave to the ridge trough couplet, and therefore it's going to generate a shift. We're going to start to become more blocked up throughout the Northern Hemisphere. We've got a deepening trough to the west of the UK and Ireland that is allowing heights to build, the heat to build over Iberia. That then lifts up through the continent here, clipping the southeast corner of the UK. Then that heat transfers into the eastern side of Europe here. We've got the trough that's deepening over the west, to the west of us. That's going to then cross over the west of Europe here, and we're going to see a very abrupt change in the overall feel of things. So rainfall totals all the way out to the end of Friday, picking up in excess of 100 millimetres according to the Icon model over particularly the northwest of England here. We've got this boundary separating fresher conditions to the north and west, warmer, more humid conditions to the south and southeast here, and that southeast corner of the UK is going to see some decent warmth over the next few days before a big change takes place. Rain totals as of the end of Saturday, we're picking up close to 200 millimetres of rain, in excess of 100 in northwest Wales, for example, but that northwest corner of England, widespread, possibly 50 to as much as 80, possibly more rain. We've got this kind of waving weather front here that is going to become stuck over this region here, and we're going to see some big rainfall totals. Parts of the southwest have already exceeded their average rainfall for the month of September, still slightly drier than average further north, so quite interesting here. But all the way out to the end of the end of Monday next week here, the 22nd of September, that central swathe is going to see the biggest amounts of rain. So, speaking of abrupt change, if we look at the GFS 2-meter temperature anomalies here and play through this, now watch what happens here as we step through the course of tomorrow. We're talking about, again, temperatures well in excess of 8 to 10 Celsius above average for the time of the year. That's extending into south and central France. Much of the UK is generally warmer than average, if you notice here, away from Northern Ireland and the Northwest Republic of Ireland. Then as we move into the day on Friday here, that heat continues to track northwards here. Temperatures in excess of 12, possibly locally 15 Celsius above average for the time of the year, by the way. Very warm now, peaking the heat across the southeast. Still warm in the east of Scotland here, thanks to the Fern effect. South-southwesterly winds here, creating some warmth along the Moray coast, Aberdeenshire, for example, even Caithness and Sutherland, we're going to see that. But all the while, we're starting to gather some chillier air out to the west over the Atlantic basin. Watch what happens as we go through Saturday. The heat then focuses into Germany here in the central areas of Europe. Look at the UK, northern UK. Look at Ireland. We're starting to see temperatures below average. And then as we progress through the weekend, look at Spain and Portugal. Look at France. Look at the Low Countries. That is a real abrupt change for sure. The difference between Friday, Saturday, and Monday could not be more starker. And this is your classic autumn, kind of backlash, so to speak here. This whiplash of weather. Look at how warm it is over Eastern Europe. Look at how cool it is over Western Europe. Looking at the CFSV2 weeklies then, and the current model is updated. We'll look at the previous run and see upcoming 7 days, very warm across much of Europe here, including much of England and Wales. The following week, well, it's actually turning a little bit warmer across the north, according to the CFSV2, which is interesting, but cooler than average. I want to show you here, that doesn't seem quite as accurate as I would have thought here. Upcoming 5 days, according to the model of the GFS ensemble, 6 to 10, there you go, big change coming up. And I think we're going to increase the blocking to the north as we progress towards the back half of this month here. The pattern overall becoming more blocked up. We're starting to transfer more warmth up into the Arctic region. Negative AO, negative NAO signal is beginning to show its hand as well. The MJO has been a little bit weaker in the last few weeks here, so we've not had as much of a signal from that. But certainly that is quite the shock to the system. Just a reminder, upcoming 5 days, days 6 through 10, that is quite an impressive change. It'll be interesting to see what kind of records fall in terms of warmth, anywhere from Iberia all the way up to Germany over the next few days, even the southeast of England. Let's have a quick look at the Met model here in terms of the temperatures forecast by the model here for particularly the southeast. It was showing last night 26 Celsius in the southeast. So there's that heavy band of precipitation moving through during the course of today, clearing out. We've got kind of brisk westerly winds. Then the next weather system moves in during the course of Thursday, not quite as pronounced. And then as we move into the day, Friday and Saturday, there's that boundary that kind of sets up over Wales, over the north of England, southern portions of Scotland, separating the air masses here quite distinctly. Then eventually that weather clears through and we see quite a big change to the overall flavour of weather. Always staying cooler in the northwest, by the way. We're going to see quite a big change, a big difference, a contrast between northwest and southeast. So these are the temperatures during the course of tomorrow. Low, possibly mid-20s, I would say. And as we go through the day on Friday, it's indicating temperatures of generally 24, possibly 25 Celsius. So the Met model is perhaps slightly chipped away at those numbers a little bit. Again, it very much depends on sunshine. But then look at as we progress through the course of Saturday morning, we're seeing temperatures widely into single figures. Then as we move into the day on Sunday, we could have frost in parts of even northern portions of England, southern Scotland, central Scotland here, away from urban areas. On Sunday morning, we could have a patchy frost. So 25, 26, 27 Celsius during Friday afternoon, frosty conditions early Sunday. I just want to quickly show you one last thing here off the model in this, the 850 temperatures. Look at this here. So as we progress through the course of the end of the week, we're talking about the 16, 17 Celsius, the 850 millibars across the southeast of the UK, again fresher in the northwest. Look at the difference here as we move through the course of the weekend here. Down comes the sub-freezing air. Temperatures -3, -4 Celsius at 850 here. And that drives all the way down into the south of the UK during the course of Sunday. So midday Friday, midday Sunday. Big difference coming up. Hope you're enjoying the content. Like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time with more. Bye for now.